Thanks for staying on. We're still continuing the focus here. The reading out of the verdict, in fact, which is still on as we speak. This is regarding the Nirav Modi case, the extradition case here. The judge of the districts court in the UK here is reading out initial stages here of this verdict till the final word is given out on what has been decided, whether or not he's going to be extradited to India. We have with us my colleague Tanvi getting us further inputs here. Tanvi, this has of course been on for quite many years at a time when he went absconding in 2018 and then was finally arrested in the UK in 2019, and ever since India has been fighting this case here to bring him back on Indian soil for criminal charges against him on fraud and money laundering here, for which that he needs to be tried here in India. And this is going to be the final word out on the fate of that here in this district court in UK.
Oh yes, absolutely, Seher. And since you mentioned the timeline here and the fact that he escaped when the scam broke out 3 years ago, he was arrested 2 years ago, and since then the proceedings began in UK. To put it in perspective for our viewers, the first proceeding for Vijay Mallya's extradition also, was the ruling came in our favor several years ago. But Vijay Mallya has yet to come back to India, because that's how the UK setup also is. There are lower courts, the district judges, and then there are higher courts, and then it goes all the way up to the top, just like we do have in our country. So this is going to be a long drawn process. But step one has gone in India's favor in terms of getting Nirav Modi back to our country. In fact, not only that, the judge has also said that they think he's fit enough to be taken to the jail in India, to be extradited to India and to stand trial, and that he can be given adequate medical treatment and mental health care at Arthur Road, since those were the reasons his side was presenting for him to not be extradited. But the judge has not really bought into that. He's in fact said that he can be sent to Arthur Road jail in Mumbai, and that will be appropriate, of no concern. So clearly enough evidence. Prima facie, it is established there is a case against him and that he needs to be extradited to the country. That he's even made attempts to destroy witnesses and evidence. Seher, that's also something that the court has said. Of course, what remains to be seen is what happens next from the Indian government side, as well as Nirav Modi, who for sure will have a large team of lawyers now preparing to go to the higher court.
That's right. Tanvi, you did mention Vijay Mallya here on this as well, because these are two cases that are very closely being compared, and also the nature of argument that each of their legal counsels have put up. This is basis condition of prisons in India. This is basis mental harassment here. Something that was taken into account as far as Vijay Mallya's case is concerned. How do we think this is going to fare here right now in Nirav Modi's case?
Every step that has gone in our favor, and even though the process has been long and painstaking, the judiciary in UK has ruled in the favor of the Indian government for the extradition part. Similarly in this case as well, it does bode well for the Indian government in terms of their efforts now to at least bring them back, irrespective of how they managed to get out of the country in the first place. That's a completely different question. But the government has been building strong cases, whether it's to get Vijay Mallya back or it is now to get Nirav Modi back. That being said, I just want to emphasize on the aspect that Nirav Modi still has a lot of legal recourse options in United Kingdom, so he's not going to be, shipped to India overnight. But at least the UK extradition judge has said that yes, basis the arguments and evidence presented to him, Nirav Modi can be extradited. He's wanted in a big
development
scam.
Here.
Yes.
This is with respect to the word that's out by the judge. The UK extradition judge, in fact, has ordered Nirav Modi to be extradited to India to stand trial. So, Tanvi, this is a huge development here. The UK judge taking into account the nature of criminal charges that Nirav Modi is facing in India. There's no point here having him in UK, because he needs to be back in India and needs to be tried on Indian soil. And the nature of crime, fraud, money laundering that has been committed by Nirav Modi here. So this is what the judge has decided in ordering Nirav Modi to be extradited to India to stand trial. This is a huge development here on this, Tanvi.
The final verdict that yes, he should be extradited to India, and this is what the UK extradition judge and the UK extradition court has ruled. Going on to even say that not only is there prima facie a case against Nirav Modi and he must stand trial in India, he can be put in Arthur jail here in Mumbai. He even attempted to destroy evidence against him, even attempted to intimidate witnesses. So, this really builds a strong case for Indian government to try and push for his extradition further. But, Sir, just what I was saying earlier, I'm simply going to reiterate that fact that, yes, while step one is a big victory in our favor, it's still just step one. And Nirav Modi still has lots of legal recourses within United Kingdom before he can actually physically be brought back to India. Seher.
Yes, these are breaking inputs here coming in, Tanvi. Here, the UK court has decided that Nirav Modi needs to be extradited here, needs to be sent back to India to face trial in India itself. It's important here to note the nature of charges that he's facing here, as we've been saying that he's been out of India, escaped in fact in 2018 and then arrested in 2019. He's facing charges of fraud. He's facing charges of money laundering in India. This is in connection to what we've been calling the PNB scam, which is the Punjab National Bank scam, which is approximately to $1.5 billion, which caused the bank to collapse here as well. And for almost 2 long years, the government of India has been trying to have Nirav Modi extradited, as he's been fighting this legal battle in the UK where he was arrested. So today, a district level court in the UK has decided that Nirav Modi will be extradited. He will
guarantee did pass the muster from the court. The court also found prima facie case that Nirav Modi has a prima facie case to answer the charges of money laundering, the charges of defrauding Punjab National Bank, and also the 2 additional charges of threatening witnesses and tampering with evidence. All of that passed the court's muster today. So a very comprehensive victory for India. Nirav Modi, of course, appeared in court through a video link from Wandsworth Prison, and he saw the judge read out parts of that judgment. So a huge and very big victory for India, for the CPS also, of course. They will go for an appeal and it will be heard in the High Court. But as of now, a comprehensive victory for India. The judge striking down each and every defense point that was raised by Nirav Modi on human rights issue, on whether he will get a fair trial in India, whether there is political interference to his case, and also that the CBI and ED have failed to make out a prima facie case. All of these grounds have been rejected, and rejected comprehensively by the Westminster Magistrates Court today.
All right, Times Network's Danish has been getting us these live updates from outside court there in London here. These are important updates coming in. The UK Sessions Court judge, District Court judge there, deciding that Nirav Modi will be extradited, will be sent back to India here for trials that he needs to face in India, to be extradited to India to stand trial here.
That the judge, in fact, mentioned that based on the evidence, based on the video evidence, and based on the sovereign assurances by India, it seems that Nirav Modi's cell, Barrack 12 in Arthur Road Jail, looks spacious, much more spacious than the cell at Wandsworth where he's currently lodged. Now, that was the observation by the judge himself, who made this particular statement. So it comprehensively countered the defense's assertion on human rights and the fact that he will not get access to private healthcare. I must also add that right through the trial, the defense have told the court that Nirav Modi has been restricted in terms of access to assets and access to funds. Now, that ground also got summarily rejected because we had also reported earlier that the defense had told the court that Nirav Modi will not have access to funds, and hence he will not be able to access private healthcare. That was also rejected today. The judge, in fact, if I can say, also noted that the very fact that he has been able to give out huge sums of money, offer large sums of money as bail, means that he has access to significant funds, and if he so wishes, he can also get access to private healthcare while in jail, which means that he will, of course, have the benefit of the government machinery, the government hospitals, but he could also make an application to access private healthcare, and he will have the fund. He does have the fund for that as well. So that ground was also rejected. It's very interesting to also look at it in a different way. You know, if the situation in jails are not good, that is not the point. The point is that India has given a sovereign assurance that in the case of Nirav Modi, he will get access to Barrack 12, and these are the redeeming qualities, the features of Barrack 12 in terms of space, in terms of light, in terms of access to drinking water. Now the court has to go by that sovereign assurance. The court need not take into consideration the general trend, the general situation of the prisons in India. And that is the qualifying factor, because the defense here, be it Vijay Mallya case as well, have regularly tried to puncture India's cases by saying that the prisons are overcrowded. Well, that is not the issue. That is not the point of contention. The point of contention is whether the assurance that India has given and the evidence that India has given, does that pass the muster or not? And on that count, the judge said that it does pass the counter and Nirav Modi's human rights will not be breached. So Article 3, Article 6, and also Section 91 of the Extradition Act 2003, which the defense had tried to say that Nirav Modi should be discharged because of his mental and physical condition. That ground was also rejected.
All right, that's important to note here on all that the judge has taken into account, not buying the arguments that this is going to be a human rights crisis here as far as mental harassment, depression there is concerned. If Nirav Modi is extradited back and conditions of Indian jails, none of that has been bought as an argument, taken into account as an argument by the judge here. The judge making it very clear that these are crimes that he committed in India. He needs to face trial in India, which is why he needs to be sent back, which is why Nirav Modi needs to be extradited for crimes that he's committed in India to stand trial here on Indian soil.